Now, Indian people have long been among the largest ethnic groups who've gone to the U.S., but with the economic difficulties there, it seems many of them are now thinking about heading back home. RT's Priya Sridhar talks to some immigrants who are considering giving up their American dream.
To many, it may be no surprise that in the midst of one of the worst recessions in recent history, many highly skilled immigrants are choosing to leave the United States. Just take a look at the numbers. While the United States economy is projected to shrink in the next year, India's economy, on the other hand, is expected to grow.
Yesterday, I just lost my tooth.
Shobhit Bhargava is living the American dream. The new father of two is enjoying a successful career in the IT world while balancing the joys of family life in the United States.
Please, Mommy.
But slowly he's starting to realize that maybe that so-called American dream isn't really a dream of his after thousands of Indian immigrants who've decided it's time to pack up their bags and return home. He's been offered several jobs in India that he says beat out his options here in the United States.
The opportunities in India are definitely much better than what they are here.
It's a phenomenon that's being called the American. Studies show that 10% of all the millionaires in America are Indian. Ever heard of Google? Or maybe that place they call Silicon Valley? Well, Indian immigrants have their fingerprints all over back where they came from. Priya Sridhar, RT, Washington, D.C.
President Obama, as we said, addressed the UN General Assembly, trying to accomplish the American dream outside of America, many even traveling halfway across the world to India. RT correspondent Priya Sridhar traveled there and brings us this report.
India's IT boom.
There's definitely a sense of excitement here. Things are looking up for India. Even throughout this recession, things have remained positive here, and you can't really say the same thing about the States.
For Colin Murphy, that excitement drew him here to the campus of one of India's biggest IT companies, Infosys. The 43-acre self-contained community boasts 21st century architecture, gourmet dining, and environmentally friendly transportation for the outsourcing giants. A new, emerging India that is attracting the best and brightest from India, and now from the U.S. too.
We have students from Stanford, students from Harvard, students from MIT. They get to understand what is Infosys, what's the IT industry, and because most of the internships are based in India, what is India? And part of that is just about breaking myths and misconceptions.
It's an ironic twist. After decades of what was called the Indian brain drain, a new era has begun. One in which thousands of Americans are packing up their things and finding better jobs in this land of new opportunity.
For future leaders, I think it's something that's quite interesting but attractive for these individuals. So getting a better understanding of how things function here and how collaboration will take place in the future.
Infosys is one of a handful of Indian companies that is actively courting America's top talent. Every year, the company brings more than 100 elite American students to its campus for a 10-week training program to learn about India. And those opportunities aren't limited to Infosys. Valerie Rosinski came to work in an Indian startup after spending 3 years in Silicon Valley.
India has been an increasingly interesting market, and as it becomes easier and easier to be here with better infrastructure and things like that, more and more people are bound.
And Americans like Rosinski who make the leap to India also have to adjust to everyday life in a country of 1 billion.
One thing you absolutely have to have if you move to India is a lot of patience and a lot of tolerance for things to go wrong, things to just happen not your way.
It's a reality that these Americans must accept if they hope to succeed in this globalized world. Might just turn the world upside down. Priya Sridhar, RT, Bangalore, India.
And Priya joins us now in the studio, fresh back from India. Let's talk about this, Priya. I mean, you've got a lot of Americans coming into India, and I know, among other topics, you're an international correspondent, but you're also, you've covered immigration extensively. Mm-hmm. Is India going to start a program where they're going to stop Americans from coming in?
Yeah, well, I was really interested to kind of find that out from the Indians that were there. You know, what did they think about this kind of boom of Americans that were coming to their country? And I didn't know if for them they would rather have companies like Infosys that are a real source of pride for them because it's really put them on the global map. If they would feel like, you know, companies like that really owe it to the Indians to give them jobs. But, you know, they said that, hey, we are happy that we're on the global map. We're so excited that, you know, all these Americans are taking an interest in our country, and it's really spurring kind of the economy in Bangalore. You know, when the Americans come, they're bringing the dollars with them, they're spending money there, they're going out to the bars, they're shopping, and everything like that. So, you know, they felt like it was a great thing for their country. And I think kind of what I realized, I've traveled to India since I was very small, and I go there every couple of years. And this time when I went there, I noticed a lot of what these Americans were saying. There's a sense of excitement there. Indians really feel like this is their golden time in the world, and everyone has their eye on that market. You know, the demographic between 25 and 35 of young Indians is the fastest growing demographic in the world. They have expendable incomes. They can shop, and they're going to have the most cell phones out of any other group in the world. And they really are noticing that international companies, not just Americans are coming over, but companies from all over the world are really taking an interest in wanting to come and sell their products to them, and they're just really excited about the whole thing.
And did you notice when you were there, sort of this time, a lot more Americans? Was it easier to find Americans to talk to?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I felt quite at home there. You know, I fit in. I had my relatives that are from India that were there, but then there was also so many Americans who were finding that they could live a life there too.
All right, RT correspondent Priya Sridhar just back from India.